Hi, Stacy here. Today I'm going to show you how to create an image. This is the first step in creating your own animations. With the Expressive Pixels app open, be sure you're in the My Animations screen, and we're going to go to the top right and choose New Animation. You'll be prompted to choose one of 3 templates, or you can specify your own size. You'll want to choose based on the LED device that you are targeting. Once I select it, it will take me into the authoring screen. And this screen has 3 sections. The active frame panel, which is where you'll draw or edit your image. The media panel, where you pick your colors or find existing emojis or fragments to work with. And the animation timeline down below, where you manipulate the frames in your animation. Let's begin with the active frame panel. In the center, you'll see the drawing canvas or template you have chosen. I'll quickly introduce you to each of the actions in the drawing toolbar. The paintbrush, the eraser tool, our selection, which lets you move, copy, or resize a large group of pixels at once. An eyedropper tool lets you choose colors. Paint bucket, where you can flood a large area of color at once. Rotation lets you rotate your image. Our layers tool, we'll learn more about that in our advanced tutorials. And our grid, we can turn our grid on or off depending on your preference. All right, now for the fun part, let's look at the media panel. This is where we will choose our colors as we begin our drawing. There are a few different ways to choose a color. In the toolbar, we have our color picker that you see here and our color wheel. First, I'm going to start with the color picker. Today, I'm going to draw a simple heart. So I'll choose one of my favorite colors, turquoise. Now you'll see the color I picked is shown in the active foreground patch here. Now with my paintbrush tool chosen, I will paint the color into the pixels. And I can paint 1 pixel at a time or a bunch of pixels by holding down my cursor. So I'll start by and I'll mirror that on the other side. Okay, so now I have a heart. I think I'd like to color in my heart with a deep purple. So I'm going to again go into the color picker and choose a deep purple. Now with the paint bucket tool, I can flood a large area of color all at once with 1 click, just like that. Okay, now I think I need a little highlight. If I want a color I don't see in my color picker, I can use the color wheel, and this lets you adjust the colors even further by moving around the wheel, sliding the sliders to change the tint or the shade of the color, moving the RGB sliders to change the hue, or you can even type in the RGB values of a color if you know it. I'm going to select a yellow, and since I want a light yellow, I will just move my cursor over to the light yellow area and select that. Now we can see in the active foreground patch at the top that this is the color I want. And with my paintbrush tool, I can color in a little highlight, just like that. Okay, now that I have a few colors in my image, if I select my active color palette over on the right here, I can see all of the colors that I have been using so far. This way, I can easily select them again. Another way to choose one of the colors I've used before is to select the dropper tool in the active frame, and then choose a color directly from the image. And we can see that my foreground color has changed. Now once I have a color that I like and I may want to use in other images, I can set it as a favorite by selecting the little star next to the color patch. Now this color will remain in my favorites and will be there when I'm ready to start another image. Now, if you want to remove any colors or take away pixels from your image, there are a couple ways to do this. We can, of course, use our eraser tool, or we can come back to our media panel and set our color to transparent and use our paint bucket tool to erase a larger image at once. Now, one last but very important tip is to know how to undo something if you've made a mistake or you don't like the way it looks. This little backwards arrow in the active frame will undo your last operation and a few more if needed. Or, if you prefer, the common window shortcut of Control-Z is built in to allow you to go backwards one or more steps as well. Great! Now we have a nice little heart. Be sure to name your image if you want to keep it. Up at the top here, I will type in a heart. And be sure to save your work by going down to the green check mark at the bottom of your screen. Great! Now I can see my heart has been saved in my animations library right here. Okay, now that you've been introduced to the basics, go ahead and give it a try. Learn more about using fragments, layers, and animating your images in other tutorials in this library. Thanks for watching. Try the app and let us know what you think. Visit us at aka.ms/Expressive Pixels to find out more.